Okoye. Both are laying claim to the national secretary position of the party.
Which national secretary are you talking about? Is it me or who? I am the national secretary. So, I think maybe we didn't get the BOT chairman well. The BOT chairman said that it's going to be resolved and a committee has been formed. He even mentioned the chairman of the committee, Tani Muturaki, SAN.
Despite the altercation, the BOT meeting continued. It later ended and announced that the National Executive Council of the party will now hold in February.
This meeting, we thank God for PDP. PDP will always survive. Acting National Chairman assured the Board of Trustees that the NEC meeting, as scheduled in February 2025, will hold. Will hold to address all pertinent issues and reaffirm our shared commitment to the unity, discipline, and ideals that bind us together as members of this great party, PDP.
The People's Democratic Party has been facing internal crisis since the presidential primary election in 2023. Even after they lost the presidential election to APC, the party is yet to find its footing as the major opposition political party. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, so our thanks to Ademola Lawrence there. That's a report that I'm sure you're very familiar with yourself. So I can probably link it back to my opening question, not being a member of the PDP. Is PDP in trouble again?
PDP was never in trouble. When you say again, when was PDP in trouble before whatever is happening now?
I meant by that issues such as this that we frequently talk about.
You see, this
all seems not to be well in the state.
This is what is happening in PDP.
Okay.
When you lose an election, certainly you become on the defensive. The government in power is trying to broaden its base, weaken the PDP. As you know, whether you agree or not, it is on record, it is indisputable that the PDP is the largest party in West Africa. Larger than APC, larger than any other party, and will continue to be the strongest that has ever been in this country. After we lost the election, of course, there's been a lot of confusion, rivalries in the party. You know what happened in the election itself, where some members of the party did not support the presidential candidate, and so on. So we have issues that we are trying to resolve. But where we are now on the question of the secretary, it's a very simple matter. When the National Secretary, Anyanwu, left his office, went to contest for governor in Imo State, he vacated his position. By the constitution of the party, if you've been away for that much time, I think about 6 months, the position becomes open for your zone to now nominate somebody else to occupy the position.
Okay.
By the constitution of the party. And this is what happened. Southeast zone of the PDP met and said, we are nominating Udoye to be the national chairman, to take the position that has been zoned to the southeast so that it will not be vacant. That's what happened. Now, Anyanwu came back. This is just to see clearly what is going on. Anyanwu came back and said he wanted his position back. Constitution says you cannot. So he took the party to court. Court came back and said, Anyanwu, you are no longer the national secretary of the party. Ude Okoye is the substantive national secretary of the party from now on. What is going on now is simply this. Anyanwu has refused to obey the court order to stay away. And is appealing again. That's what's going on. It's just a man who does not want to be a gentleman, because we have a problem in the PDP. Evidently, the way Anyanwu is behaving, it seems to be that he's on the script of Wike, who has determined that he's going to weaken the party from within. He's still angry about losing the presidential primaries to Atiku. And Anyanwu is his right-hand man. This is what is going on in the party.
Yeah, but at the beginning, and thank you very much for this explanation, but in the beginning you explained that the APC, I was saying in my mind, which one concerned APC in this matter at all? You're talking about the APC interested in weakening the PDP.
Definitely.
I mean, these people are, opponents, political opponents, operating within a civilized legal framework, but opponents nevertheless. So I was a bit surprised that, look, as you know, in tennis there's a thing called an unforced error.
Look, whether it's legal, whether it's moral or not, it goes on in political parties. You try your best to weaken the opponent so that you become stronger. That's what's going on. So let's admit that that's going on.
Yeah, but can that be done from outside? I mean...
No. What do? You have insiders that are double agents.
Oh. That's a weighty charge.
It is not a weighty charge. It is obvious. Wike is a member of the PDP, a leading member for that matter, who has said publicly that he's working for APC. Is that not double agency? And his ally, one of his greatest allies, is our former National Secretary, Anyanwu. So that's what's going on in the party. Atiku said recently that the opposition, that APC is giving money to Labour people, giving money to PDP people, bribing them to come to APC, and it's happening. Is it not true?
No,
Adedo Sumu's gone to APC. They got, look, allegedly they got 50 million. Whatever they got, they were PDP leaders that have gone to APC. Publicly, Sumbo Onitiri, Salvador, who was our state chairman, Dr. Adedo Sumu, who was our gubernatorial candidate in 2011, Wahabo Oniko Owokuniro, who was our secretary, was secretary of the party, so a Lagos State secretary of the party. All of these people have gone to APC. And what we know is that you don't go for free. Your President Tinubu is a very generous man. So we understand that they were paid to go. But that is what is going on in the politics.
Well, when you say, as seriously as you can speak about this matter, directly implicating the president in internal political party matters.
Look,
I was the president is there a problem of leadership
is the head of the APC.
Yes.
He is not, he's a politician, and we can say anything we want to say about him. If he doesn't like it, he should quit being president. That is the way it is. I can say anything, because how are these people going to go to APC without the consent of the president? Tell me.
Are you talking about leadership of the party here?
Leadership of the party. The head of the leadership is the president.
It just so happens that, yes, it hasn't always been like that.
He's not committed any crime. Let's go on.
Yes, indeed, we will. But I just wanted to... you can't put all of this, I would imagine, on, for example, Tinubu's head. Wike that you started from, yeah, he's in Tinubu's government. But he said nothing will move him from the PDP. That he's not about to quit the PDP, that he's going to continue to be a PDP member. Now, he might not be the exact ideal kind of membership that you want, but...
His PDP on paper, in reality, is working for APC.
Well, you are disowning
him, right?
You're disowning him, and he is not disowning you. He is not disowning PDP, but PDP seems to be disowning him.
We must disown him because he's a double agent. He's an enemy of the party.
But he's not done anything in
disrupting the
secret.
party.
He's not done anything in secret.
So what?
Okay.
So if I attack you now, you say I didn't do it in secret. I steal from you, I didn't do it in secret. Does that make it good? Does that make it right? The man is a political criminal. It's obvious. Everybody is seeing it. This is a man who swore on oath that if he ever does anything wrong to PDP, may God punish him and his children. He doesn't care. There are many people in politics that will lie on their oath. You give them a Quran, they will lie. So it's no big deal. So this is what's going on in politics, okay? One man, Anyanwu, decides to disrupt the system. His own, the whole of Southeast PDP has said, Okoye is our national secretary to replace Anyanwu, who has been set aside by the law court, by the courts, and by the constitution of the party. That's what's going on. Instead of staying at home, he decides to come to office, to the meeting. That's what happened.
And, well, so PDP is still suffering, I would guess, as an outsider, is still suffering from a lack of a cohesive kind of leadership where people, I mean, amongst yourselves, this is how we have agreed under this particular leadership. That seems to me, you don't even need to be a political science student to see that there's a problem here. There are too many leaders.
I will not disagree with you. If Anyanwu was in APC, he would have been thrown out of that meeting. He would not even have dared to come to that meeting because the issue would have gone to the leader of the party before the meeting, and it would have been resolved as they did with the case of Obasa recently. Obasa would have been making a lot of noise, would have been here there if Tinubu hadn't said, that's it, you leave, that's it. APC has a leader, one leader. Unfortunately for PDP, we are so democratic, we are democratic to a fault. That is the problem with the PDP. Every leader has a say, and we are always waiting for court. What the court says, because do you know why the Mago is still there? Because the court says, court has told us we cannot remove him because when Ayu left, Ayu did not leave peacefully. Ayu took the party to court. So court said, the way things are now, you must keep this acting in place until further notice. It looks like the next meeting of next month, February 2025, will resolve these issues.
So that sort of, this explains a bit more where I started off from, that you sought to interrogate, say, what do you mean by that? When I said, is PDP in trouble again? Because it's this kind of thing, and that I really meant, and it's only you that could have put it into this kind of context. You seem to be saying and think that, well, APC is in a better place in terms of the party leadership. When they speak, and everybody, as it were, lines up. In the PDP, it would appear that there's so many power centers, quite a number of power centers, that it oftentimes is not beneficial to the party. As someone was, we saw very unruly pictures on television. This is not the way any political party setup should be seen publicly, but such was the passion.
There is no political party where you don't have rancor like this.
But when it spills out into the streets, so to speak.
It was not on the streets, it was on the gates of on the door or the entrance.
No, I was being metaphoric.
Wadata Plaza.
It was just metaphoric.
Well, but you see, what happened at Wadata Plaza, all the fracas, happens every time in every government. You go to parliament, you see them throwing stones or throwing chairs at each other. This is politics.
So you're accepting
Plato
this as normal in politics?
Politics is war by other means. This is what happened. Look at the last election in America. Look at what they were saying to each other. Look at what they were doing to each other. This is the way it is. I don't know why people are crying. The outsiders crying louder than the bereaved.
Because it is something of a spectacle, even though you say people should be better informed and know that it happens anywhere. It is a
spectacle. There's always a spectacle in politics. Did Obasanjo create a spectacle when he went to his house to go and do press conference and be shouting, what is the Syrian military doing here? And so that is political spectacle. It happens all the time. So let us talk about where PDP is.
That's
You know what's going on.
go.
You know what is going on now.
Yes.
All this talk about PDP is in trouble. PDP is going to implode. It is the opposition strategy to give the impression that we cannot be opposition because we don't have the cohesion. But we have the cohesion.
You do have the cohesion.
Come on.
It looks like you're searching.
What do you want PDP to do that is not doing now? People say it's not a viable opposition. What can the opposition do except to complain, talk about what is going on, provide alternatives? Our National Public Secretary does that every time. Paul Ibe does that every time. Chiku does that every time.
You know,
I do it every time.
I want to find out
and look at the social media is filled with criticism and suggestions that this government should do. This government has failed the people and it is in trouble and it's saying, oh, don't worry, we are still better. Look, let me tell you, if there's an election today, PDP as it is, once we have a candidate, which we will get, because we are very democratic, once we have a convention, a candidate emerges, we are going to defeat the APC. Obvious.
Okay. Mr. George, thank you for holding on. Please go ahead now. Good morning. Mr. George, good morning. I hope you can hear. Hello, I just heard you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning and good morning to Dr. Pierre.
Yes.
Uncle, you already
we heard
said you
that.
do not cry more than the bereaved. Dr. Pierre says there is no crisis in PDP. So why don't we just leave it like that? We're seeing pictures on television. We're seeing videos where people are fighting in PDP meetings, and it says there is no problem in PDP. I think we should have just left it like that. But there are some of the comments that Dr. Pierce made that attracted my attention. He said it's the APC that is weakening the party, that taking some of their members. The president, if I can recall, Uncle Yori, the presidential candidate of PDP in the 2023 election was in the APC before. There are many APC members that moved to PDP. The APC people did not complain that PDP was weakening their party. Dr. Pierce is a prominent member of the PDP. He was there when the PDP primary, Elijah Chiku came and bulldozed everybody. The other members of the party said, we want a southern candidate. He bulldozed his way and made sure he took over as a northern candidate. When all other members of the party said, we want somebody from the south to be able to contest with the nominee of the APC. That was the beginning of this current crisis. Is it the APC that caused that one? Let's be factual.
Okay, Mr. George.
I am not a member of any political party, but truth must be said.
Okay.
PDP should solve their problem and they shouldn't be blaming others for their own wounds.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Because, well, you heard that. So, of course, if you want, you can react to any part of that. Because where he landed was where I was going to go, and where I know that you are also interested in. Where do we go from here? How does PDP solve this problem that is seeming a bit on the intractable side?
Look, you see, whenever elections are over and you have lost, you go through a process where you try to regroup and reorganize for the next one.
Okay.
That's what's going on now with PDP. The reason why we say...
But it would seem like regrouping in the midst of chaos.
This is
internal chaos.
This is the situation that we are in. Whatever you want to call it, however you want to describe it, this situation is normal for a party that has lost election.
Okay.
And we will continue to regroup until we get to the point where we resolve our issues and get ready for the next election. And we will be ready for the next election, the general election.
But could I do a ridiculous extension, please, just for the sake of talking? the Democrats have lost the election in America. Are you saying that, since you defined it that politically when you lose, you need to regroup, and the kind of thing that's going on now will be... I was just comparing things around the world, not wanting to stay local. And I wonder if that holds true for different political jurisdictions.
Go to the United States and find out what is going on in the Democratic Party now. They're fighting each other.
It's in disarray.
They're blaming everybody. They're saying Biden should not have stayed on. He shouldn't have chosen Kamala Harris. All sorts of things. This is what happens. Anyway, we are moving.
Okay.
We are going to get to a point where we'll be ready.
Okay.
Now, you see, to say that it's all our... Look, they are double agents all the time in parties.
So you're going back to the APC. You're going back to blaming the APC.
Listen, whether it's APC or not APC,
it might be another.
There are people in the party that are making sure that are working for the opponent. Wike is a good example. And Ayamu is his right-hand man. That's the main problem in PDP. Now, don't forget how strong and powerful Wike was in PDP. So he cannot just... It's not easy to oust a man like that. He has friends in there that are giving us problems. Unfortunately, he said he's now with APC. He's going to support President Tinubu in the next election. So he's with APC. Please, he's with APC. So if his allies are with APC and they're still holding office within the PD, we have problems. Don't blame us if we have problems.
So how do we begin
addressing?
When George, for example, said
this is how we
should address this problem?
We have addressed the issue of the national secretary. He shouldn't be there. So if he's still there now, it's just a matter of time.
Of the two people.
You know what happened?
Between Anyanwu
and what happened in 2023, whereby we had some group of people going to support Tinubu, and they wanted to support the presidential candidate of their party. It was a technical error from the beginning, whereby the party didn't decide clearly on zoning. They said, we are waiting to see, we're going to zone, we're not going to zone. Finally, they said, a 30-man committee met and said, there will be no zoning. I mean, once you say there's no zoning, you leave it open. That's why Atiku Abubakar went to buy his nomination form and contested. Then it was later then I said, now, are you created the greatest problem? You see, individuals within the party can create all sorts of confusion in the party. Are you, by the Constitution, was not supposed to continue in office once a northerner emerges as the presidential candidate? A northerner who was the national chairman must step down. He agreed, you agreed on video that he would step down. Unfortunately, he didn't step down. Where do we go from now? Before the next election, the Constitution, the items that have to be considered, such as if a northerner emerges or a southerner emerges, and whoever is the national chairman is from the same zone, they have to step down. That must be put in writing now and made a legal document, so that in the future, it will not be enough to say, I will step down, and then later you refuse to step down. So we're going to make changes.
Some changes are necessary.
Even constitutionally.
Let me bring on Yakub in Dokwemo. Good morning, Mr. Yakub. Good morning, Mr. Yakub. Can you hear us? I am told that Yakub is on the line, and I'm sure he is. You are now on air, Mr. Yakub. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Aha.
I don't know, maybe you can hear me.
Go ahead, please. We can hear you. Yes, now we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chief Georgie. And then good morning to your guests in the studio. As Mr.
Dr.
George rightly said earlier, that your guests problem in their party. So shall it be, but we know what is going on in their party. And then for the fact that we watch it on television and then... But Chief Georgie, the truth is this. the PDP as opposition party, they have not been played that role to the extent that they put the government of the day on their toes. Because the democracy will really need the opposition to be able to put the government of the day on their toes. Uncertainty. Some of us that supported the party, we supported APC in order for us to be able to tell people, yes, we choose the right people, and then there's no tell the ruling party that this is where you're supposed to do this, even though the ruling party may not be able to go to their way, but we will ask them that they are saying this. For example, here, Judiciary, during the Lai Mohammed area, Judiciary, you know how the Lai Mohammed played the role as an opposition time. But now, look at the opposition. In fact, I even recognize obedience as the PDP at this time, because the PDP is supposed to be leading party in the opposition. Now, let me give you another example here. Yesterday, the presidential candidate of PDP in the last election, in person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, said the ruling party, he met some of the leaders in the PDP, and then he was told by them that the ruling party brought them 500,000 naira, million naira. And then, but he failed.
50 million. 50 million, according to what Dr. Pierce said earlier, is the allegation. Allegation.
He's supposed to be mentioned their name so that he can be able to take calculation.
Exactly. Okay, he's supposed to mention the names. This is again, here you are. These are allegations.
I just mentioned some names, right? If Atiku Abubakar didn't mention name, that's unfortunate. But that is the most important thing is Nigerians are concerned about a viable opposition because they know this administration has failed them. So they want a change. That is what's going on. Even members of the APC...
That's the PDP perspective.
Yes.
I mean, it's important to put it that this... Because people say PDP should be a better and a stronger opposition than they think it is being now.
Well, if we're a better opposition, we will do better in exposing the weakness and the failure of this administration.
Okay.
So that we can present an alternative in 2027. Mm-hmm. That's the purpose. And we will. You see... it's like you enter an academic institution. When you start, you are moving toward the day of examination. Our day of examination will come when we have our Congress, National Convention.
Okay.
We will begin to resolve these issues. The issue of the National Secretary will be resolved. The issue of the National Chairman will be resolved. Once that is resolved, and then we get to
and this has been slated for February.
Yes.
I'll come back and you continue. Yes. There are things to do. But please stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
And globally,
it's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707 272 8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
with investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment and business news so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Okay, welcome back. And Umar is waiting to join the program in K2. Good morning, Mr. Umar.
Yes, good morning, Akuyori.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Good morning, Akuyori. Good morning to your guests in the studio.
Indeed. Carry on, please.
Okay. Yeah, the truth is, the problem in PDP is orchestrated by APC, we know, using the instrumentality of the judiciary. Because how then you say somebody who went to contest for a governorship in a state, holding on to the position of the national secretary of the same party where he was supposed to be signatory. For every candidate that is contesting for an election, that was supposed to be signatory to them giving the form to INEC. They now came back, saying he's still laying claim the same position. And he went, the other person, Mr. Okoye, went to court, got a judgment that removed Anyanwu as the national secretary of the party. Then he went to the same court, the same high court, where Udo Okoye got the judgment from. The same competent jurisdiction as the lawyers used to say. And he's still the national chairman of the party. Now, you have the light of Wike, who is an ally of Anyanwu and Damagu. Then Wike is a minister in APC government. And he has categorically said every now and then that he's going to support the APC candidate in 2027. Then how then you say somebody like that, who is the beneficiary of the same government, and is still holding on to the party that was supposed to be an opposition to the ruling party? How is it going to work? There will be a problem. Now, when I hear people saying every day, every time that the PDP is not standing firm as an opposition to the now the last president that ruled under PDP, which zone was he from? He's from the South. Because people keep saying, "Oh, the presidency was supposed to be zoned to the South." Now, the last president that ruled under PDP, which zone was from the South. So people should stop blaming PDP for this whole thing, because we have the list of Wike in PDP.
So have you reduced the problems of the PDP to the sole issue of the existence of Wike, 1, 2, he also serving in the ruling party's administration?
Yes.
Oh, well. Okay. Dr. Pierce, thank you very much, Umar. Thank you very much, Umar. Dr. Pierce wants to comment.
By the way, you were right about Umar.
Sorry.
So you were right about Umar.
Okay.
Anyway, you see, we get sentimental and emotional and angry about these things. But please, I'm going to try to explain. You see, what Umar is saying is that it boils down to Wike using his contacts in the judiciary to try to create problems for the PDP. For instance, it was Wike's contacts in the judiciary that kept dragging the case of the national secretary, wanted to reinstall Anyanwu after he had lost election in Imo. You understand?
You're blaming the judiciary for this?
Listen. I said he's trying to get the judiciary to do his bidding.
Oh, okay.
At the end of it, the judiciary did the right thing by saying that Okoye is the rightful national secretary. However, you see, I'm not blaming judiciary because this is the way the law works. If you say Anyanwu is not the general secretary anymore, and Anyanwu doesn't want to agree on that, he can go back to court. So if the court now says, okay, let's see what happens, hold on a bit, don't blame the court. The court has not done anything wrong in this case. You understand me? But people like Umar and I myself, we know that the court is being used to try to undermine unity and peace in the party. The court is there to listen to both sides.
And apply the rules.
That is it.
And when we see,
because
people might hear you say, use the judiciary, use the court.
Yes.
And we know that actually, unless it can be proved that it is different in this case, the court is bound by the rules.
In this case, the court has ruled that Anyanwu is no longer.
And that's as much as there is to say about that.
So the court is doing its job.
Yes.
Now, if Anyanwu goes back to court, that is also admissible. Nothing wrong with that. So, but you see, there's trouble, right?
Well, yes.
It's nobody's fault. That's the situation of the PDP. That's all I'm trying to tell you. That is all I'm trying to say, that the situation is such that all this complication is not the fault of the PDP. It is nobody's fault. It is the fault of the situation. Everybody trying to get things their way.
So how does PDP get its house in order to be two things? One, an effective political party. And then two, an effective opposition. An effective opposition. It's already the largest, as you said so.
You tell me what you think PDP should do as an opposition. I heard Umar saying we should do it like we did with Lai Mohammed.
Was it? No, it was the caller before that, Yaqub, who was relating to Lai Mohammed, Lai Mohammed's role, not necessarily in the last administration. I think this goes back to when he was the publicity secretary of the APC.
Yeah, that's the point. Yes. I knew him very well. We met so many times. He was very effective.
Yes.
Now, those were the days prior to social media in the first place. Secondly, I am telling you, Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself is a master of the media. Look how many media houses he has a hand in. One way or the other, directly or indirectly. Therefore, during the days of Lai Mohammed, it was very effective. A lot of it was pure propaganda, but it was effective. And he got rid of Jonathan's administration and brought in this APC government. Now, brought in Buhari. So, it was very effective. We are not operating in that manner. And part of that has to do with the way PDP operates. PDP is just such a democratic party that it doesn't... The National Public Secretary and I talk all the time, and I asked him, I said, why don't you use the same kind of propaganda that Lai Mohammed was using? He said he's a lawyer, he's not going to go into that.
Lai Mohammed is a lawyer too.
Well, Lai Mohammed was a rogue lawyer.
It's only that this is understood in his political context. Otherwise, I mean, you said as much.
Lai Mohammed was, look, it was propaganda. But a lawyer, lawyers can look at things from different perspectives. But anyway, he does not attack like that. I even do more than him instead of being more critical and more direct in things I say. He does not his own approach. But now, the key thing is not, look, the whole of Nigeria is opposition to APC. with the leadership of the PDP now, the little we can do now will be more than enough when election time comes for Nigerians to vote for PDP.
In fact, one of the reasons why we invited you was to find out exactly this gray area about what. Let's hear from Dr. Pierce, for example. In the Reset Lagos PDP, you were convener of that. Let's find out from someone as knowledgeable as that. What are the steps necessary? Because you have very many strong minds in the air. Let me use that expression. Strong minds, they will go their own way. And apparently, there's precious little that anybody can do about it. A key example is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, wading in as he did. Even though it was going to rock the boat, he still did what he wanted to do. So with that kind of, there are those who might use the word vibrancy, but it looks like, I go back to a point I made earlier, clearly PDP is suffering from a lack of a central leader that the party will very rarely want to go against. Not because it doesn't have the capacity, but because there's a solidity in the followership of this particular leader.
At the national level, we have that problem. I hate to say it, but it is since 2015, in my own opinion, we've had that problem. The president of the country, if the party was in power, automatically the head of the party, then it was Jonathan. Unfortunately, Jonathan was not a very aggressive kind of person. Immediately he lost the election, he retreated to his village. That is when people like Wike, who were not bona fide leaders of the party because he was not the president, he was not the national chairman, came in and took over control of the party. So that's the problem. Then, when Atiku Abubakar became the presidential candidate, what happened in 2019? He retreated to Dubai. So you are right. We have unfortunately not had the kind of strong, focused, pragmatic leader at the very top. And another thing that's been affecting the PDP, in a political party such as ours, the national chairman should be the leader of the party, not the president. You see, unfortunately, in the PDP, the president, because we've always had presidents since this dispensation, we've always been in government. So our president now took the position of being, like Obasanjo thought he was the head of the party. And that is the problem. So now Obasanjo is fighting.
You don't have any problem with APC now. I mean, APC is a slick running.
Well, this is because you have
the damage.
You have a man like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that is what is keeping APC together. Not that they don't have their own problems and all sorts of issues.
That's the sign of a great leader, right?
Well, a great leader in the sense of his political organization, but performance is not the same thing. You could be the leader. Listen. You could have a very cohesive organization, and then in the administration, your policies are detrimental to the progress of the country, which is what we are going through now. So there are two different things. Let's clear that. There's two different things. PDP, unfortunately, does not have a leader who is virtually an autocrat. He controls everything. Everything begins and ends with Bola Ahmed Tinubu in APC.
But you're saying the kind of thing that the opposition usually says.
Well,
and if you want, it's your right to say it.
There are people who would listen, even in his own party, who would agree with me. Because that is the fact of the story.
Okay. Pastor Abraham in Weda, I believe. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead,
good
please.
Morning to
Dr. Pierce.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Tokumbo. Ade Tokumbo Pierce.
Yes, doctor. Thank you. A quick one.
Sure.
PDP should stop their blame game. it is very, very important they do that. Because if they continue this way, what happened to them in the last election will still repeat itself. That is very, very factual. In a family, even a single family setup, if the head of the family is not up and doing, there will be crisis in the family. And that is what is happening with PDP. PDP did not have a singular head who they're supposed to look up to, like the APC. That is very, very important.
But our guest today has admitted as much. Dr. Peirce has actually admitted as much and called it unfortunate.
And the issue of blaming APC for working against them, taking their members. What happened during the period of Saraki? During the other senators who en masse left APC and joined the PDP. What happened? It happens anyhow. It is left for the PDP to arrange their party, possibly backed by internal law that will guide them, not blaming others. That is my take. God bless you, Mr. Ayori.
Thank you very much, Pastor Abraham. It's one thing to have rules of engagement, laws. It's another thing for the membership to respect those rules so much and, as the English say, I believe, play cricket. In other words, there are rules. So that is not cricket. But in the situation that we find ourselves, it looks like, I made the point before, not everybody wants to respect the rules, and it doesn't matter. Nothing will happen.
There is no rule anywhere in the world.
I think they call it internal democracy.
That is respected if there's nobody to enforce it. Nowhere. Especially in politics. If people can get away with it, they get away with it. Unfortunately, in PDP, they get away with it. Next thing you know, they go to court. In the constitution of the party, it is said that you cannot take the party to court.
Okay.
People take the party to court all the time. You know, so
is that a bit of disorganization within the PDP?
Disorganization. This is the point. Look. This is part of things that we have to put in place. We need a strong leader, a leader that does not have too much baggage, who understands politics and governance and how to manage people. By the grace of God, in the next election, we will get such a leader. Well, because let me tell you,
you're enumerating all the things that APC has at the moment. And so when you want to go on the next sentence to talk about the next election, maybe this is even a fine place to hear your commentary of, are you actually saying that you think the PDP actually stands a chance in the 2027 election?
In the 2023 election, Atiku had won 12 states. Obi won 12 states. Bola Ahmed Tinubu won 12 states. Bola Ahmed Tinubu managed to win this election by the narrowest margin. Atiku lost by 860,000 votes. The baggage that Atiku got into this election with was so heavy that for Tinubu to win by such a narrow margin shows that he's very weak. Tinubu cannot survive the next election.
You believe that?
I just gave you my analysis. Did you hear my analysis?
I did.
Listen to this. How did Tinubu win 2023? INEC announced that he won after 31% of the votes have been counted. Tinubu did not win any election. Well, INEC gave him that election because the facts are there.
We're talking about, this is on very delicate territory because everything that was done was tested right up to the Supreme Court.
I am quoting what happened, and I am saying that on the basis of that, yes, on the basis of that, he is a very weak candidate very vulnerable.
In 2027.
Especially with the performance from the time he got in office. He has destroyed the economy. Our security is gone.
We shall have to
Therefore, he
wait.
cannot win 2027 unless INEC gives it to him again.
Okay. So
no other way.
INEC doesn't give people elections, sir. I don't
INEC gave it in 2023.
I don't need to tell you that. But anyhow,
INEC
I hear what you're saying.
They gave it to them in Edo also.
Is Mazi Okoroafo still there? Mazi Okoroafo? No, he's not there anymore. I hear you, sir. I don't want to get into those arguments because
it is not
one
your
thing that we
business
want
to
to
get into
thank you, sir.
Because we
want to hear from you. That's why we call you.
You are not APC. You are not PDP.
Yes, but
therefore,
then you can't talk about a legitimately installed government the way you have been speaking. We've had someone saying that.
I can say it. You may not agree.
Okay.
Your listeners may agree or not agree.
Okay.
I am giving you our perspective.
The PDP's perspective.
That is it.
No problem, sir. I understand that.
That if 31%, only 31% of the votes came in and you announce that somebody won, it is totally unacceptable.
All right.
It is not credible. And INEC is not credible as long as the president, whoever the president is, PDP or APC, is the one appointing the INEC chairman.
Okay, let me just, as I said, I don't need to get in on that. But
it's totally not credible.
And you fancy, PDP, fancy your chances in 2027?
I just gave you the reasons why.
You actually fancy your chances?
The performance of this administration that has been so flawed is enough to give us the victory in 2027.
As accolades are coming in from around the world, that Nigeria, you'd better look at it again. This is not business as usual. This is a totally different culture, a totally different day. But you have the right, and we
with
need
35% inflation, with poverty growing every day.
Okay, Dr. Pierce.
With increased unemployment.
I won't rebut. I thank you very much for coming along and sharing your impressions with us. Our guest has been Dr. Adetokunbo Pierce, convener, Reset Lagos, our PDP on the one hand, but a commentator on national affairs on the other. Thank you very much for coming on our program.
Thanks for having me.
Indeed, that's our program. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Do have a great weekend.
Is good.
We can build a new friendship.
Cheers with Fabulous here.
I am sweet, but don't try me still.
How can that not disgrace me?
I am avoiding one person.
She does owe me an apology.
Have you ever Googled I didn't Google it. Like I said, girl, I read. You should read often.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. It's ShopX Bonanza time. ShopX TV is thrilled to offer an exclusive giveaway of up to 30% on the amazing CookX Air Fryer Oven from now till January 31st, 2025. Our incredible CookX 10-in-1 Air Fryer Oven that makes all the amazing fried food you love with 80% less fat normally retails for $299.